Hi, this is Johnny Mike Driving coming to you from Chicago, as usual, and today I've got a really interesting one. I just did a video on Rogue Nation getting arrested, and here's a little update. It's Rogue Nation getting released. I was tipped off to this by a commenter, and he put out a little stream today or whatever, and it's pretty interesting. Let's do it.
You know, it had been a while since I'd made it past that booking stage into general population. Usually I get bonded out within the first couple hours. I'm in and out. So it'd been a while since I'd been back to the depths of the jail and seeing how they're treating people and the food they're getting and you know, the charges that is a...
Well, there you have it. For those of you who don't know, Rogue Nation was arrested. It was 10 days ago or something like that, and he was put in jail. I guess he usually bonds out, but this time he was held, and that's where we start this.
Curing on your account, you know. So now when you go into jail, I had like $30 in my pocket, so they put that $30 in my account, and right away they hit me for like $20 for housing and clothing, you know. So I'm wearing these pass me down, you know, pants that they probably knitted or, you know, sewed at the damn prison factory. It doesn't cost them nothing. And then, you know, they're charging me money on it. And then every day they're charging me the subsistence fee. It's like $3, you know, for food or something I'm getting.
I'm sorry, this just makes me crazy. It's either substance or sustenance. Pick a side, but subsistence is not a word.
Yes, and, you know, sustenance.
Don't forget to hit like. The boys would really appreciate it, unless you have something against Frankie and Ollie.
And I'm thinking to myself, what in the hell is my taxpayer dollars going for? Snap, did you have any questions you said you wanted to get into?
Well, your taxpayer dollars are going to prosecute and arrest somebody who's out harassing public employees for no good reason, apparently. And the fact that you get charged a little bit for it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, look, man, I got lots of questions and kind of waiting for you to take a breath there, Rogue.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, really, a lot of people have never been to jail, never experienced this.
Yeah, it's something most of us like to avoid.
And so I'd like to sort of, you know, go from the start and walk us through the exact experiences that you went through. Most of us should have watched by now Rogue live being arrested. James Madison Audits was with him as well.
I have to admit I have not seen that, so I haven't seen the actual arrest in this case, but apparently it's out there. I might give it a look.
And so they switched Rogue's camera off, and I assume most people jumped over to James Madison Audits to continue watching what was going on. So when they arrested you, Rogue, you were cool as a cucumber. I mean, seriously, like, I don't know if I would have reacted like that, but you were just like, oh yeah, sure, great, yeah, no worries.
Oh, listen to this sycophantic description of the incident. He was arrested, and to his credit, apparently didn't throw a huge fit, but he was arrested. What's he supposed to do?
Just like they offered you to come sit down and watch a movie or something, you know? And so what went through your mind initially? Like, so they said they had a warrant for you. What was your first thought? Like, what could it possibly be for? Or did you have an idea what they may have been targeting you for?
I didn't. Right when they said that, you know, I'm pretty thorough. I don't break, you know, a lot of laws, if any. And I try to
Well, good for you. I love this. He's talking about you know, how he doesn't break the law. Well, most of us don't. That's how we stay out of jail.
You're not supposed to go to jail. Low expectations.
That's nothing to brag about. However, this is really interesting because I did a video on him being arrested. I had no idea what the underlying substance of it was. I have a much better idea of what the underlying substance is, although it's filtered through him. So I'm not saying he's even lying or anything. I'm just saying I'm getting his version of it to the extent that that's correct, which may be completely or not at all. I don't know. We'll see.
Conduct myself that way, even when I'm not auditing, you know, even when I'm not having a camera running, like when me and my family went to St. Augustine yesterday for a family, trip or whatever, and hang out and stuff. And, I didn't find myself along the way breaking the law there.
Congratulations. You went on a family trip and didn't break the law or get arrested. What an upstanding member of society.
As well. But
Yeah.
So when they said they had a warrant for me, my first thought is, no way. This is, I was just out, it's been a while, been like a week and a half when I was down in Defonic Springs, or however you pronounce that crazy town.
Defoniac.
And I knew they had ran my name then because they'd given me a trespassing warning. So I knew in between that time I hadn't been out doing anything. So I realized it had to come from back around that time or something of that nature. And then when they said criminal mischief, I kind of had a feeling, that the sticker or any sticker might have been an issue.
That's what most people had gone to. Everybody was saying, look, Rogue doesn't break the law. We've got no idea what he could have done wrong. And then I think one of the police said to James that it was a misdemeanor felony or something like that. And people started, talking about mentioning stickers, and said it's the only thing we could think of they could use to have a go at Rogue is maybe he's put a sticker somewhere and they want to call that permanent damage or willful damage or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think the statute they were trying to run me up under was 316.0775. I'm going to read just the title of that, and that is interference with official traffic control devices or railroad signs and signals.
I'm going to show you the actual statute. This provision is very short. Let me see if I can do this. Here we go. That's the provision that he cites, and it does seem to make sense in terms of the narrative of the story that we're hearing from him. It also makes sense in terms of a 1A audit. First of all, he basically admits that he placed a sticker right here, which is an element of this offense. So it's just a horrendously bad idea to make this video and say, well, I couldn't think of what it was except that sticker that I put there. Well, if that's an element of an offense, it's not something you want to be on the internet proclaiming that you did. It seems small, but it's not. And so right here, he just reads the title, but it says a person may not, without lawful authority, attempt to, or in fact alter, deface, injure, knock down, or remove any official traffic control device. It goes on and it gets deeper, but that's basically what it is. Now, what he's trying to say, he puts it on a sign, sounds like a crosswalk sign. That, in my mind, is a traffic control device. I've not researched it in the state of Florida. I practice in the state of Illinois, but we refer to any signs, stop sign, yield sign, crosswalk sign, anything that would affect traffic, we would call a traffic control device. Also a red, yellow, green light, all those sorts of things. So the way I read this statute, I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not spending hours researching it. The prosecutors in Florida can do this just fine without me. But the way I read this statute is that a traffic control device, and that's going to include signs. And he basically admits that he places a sticker on a crosswalk sign. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a violation of this code.
Okay, and then under number 1, it said that the violation of the subsection is a criminal violation pursuant to statute 318.17 and shall be punished as set forth in statute 806.13 related to criminal mischief and graffiti. Now, the only problem with that is that the stuff that it applies to is a official traffic control device, which would be a traffic light or any railroad sign or signal. Okay, so a sign like a railroad sign would be like the.
And here's where I just think he misinterprets the statute. Of course, he's just reading it and then giving it the best interpretation for himself. And that's understandable. I'm not knocking him for it. But the way I read it, as an attorney who's practiced law and dealt with these things, I'm not saying it applies there. There would probably be some statutory definition. But for all the world, what they are trying to prevent with this is defacing of traffic control signs because it affects the flow of traffic. And that's going to apply to anything that would give direction to cars. He just conveniently assumes it doesn't include what he did, but I think it does.
The X sign or a signal being, you know, the two blinking lights with the gate that goes down. That would be a signal, or any inscription, shield, or insignia thereon. But it says nothing about crosswalk sign, which is actually where the sticker was placed.
It says traffic control device, and I believe that would fall under the definition of traffic control device. I'm not 100% certain, but that's what I believe.
So what these guys did is they saw that sticker being placed there. They looked through the statutes to see if they could find some kind of, you know, graffiti or defacing or, you know, maybe befuddling of public property.
Befuddling. It's graffiti or defacing under the statute. Befuddling is just a random word that doesn't fit. Also, he admits that not only did he implicitly admits that he placed the sticker, but also admits that they viewed him placing the sticker. I'm just telling you, as a prosecutor, I know this is like a smaller thing. It'd be hard to say that he did it until he videotapes himself making and releases it on YouTube, and then all you have to do is play this, and that's going to be enough.
That they could try to stick me with, and that statute is what they came up with. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't stick, doesn't apply. I mean, just, you know, right off the top of my head, I could see that for free expression, free speech.
Yeah, let's not go off the top of your head. I let a little of this go so you can see it, but his legal analysis is not. It's okay. He's not an attorney. He clearly doesn't understand the law. He makes a ton of bad analogies. I cut it all out. The video is actually interesting, but I wanted to get to the nuts and bolts of what happened.
Light posts and telephone poles and such like this on the corner.
It's not like a light post. I mean, we can distinguish that. That's not what the statute is designed to help with traffic control devices. A light pole is not a traffic control device. And you don't have any First Amendment rights on a traffic control device either. He goes on and on. I cut most of it.
Of most American cities have long been held to hold this kind of material. I mean, if you go to New York or Chicago or LA, you're not going to find one telephone pole that isn't completely covered in stickers.
I'll tell you what you won't see very much of. I see it occasionally, but you won't see very often is a traffic control device, a stop sign, a yield sign, a light that's defaced. Yes, rarely. And the reason for it is they want to keep that clean, and they will enforce it.
And in most American cities, it's that way. And it's a way for citizens to communicate to other citizens, to pass along ideals.
No, the word you were looking for is idea, not ideal. But no, a traffic control device is not a form for your speech. It is a functional message for drivers on the road.
And different sets, political thoughts even. You know, there's a lot of political handbills that go up.
Lost cats and lost dog signs and stuff like that up on them places too. We have them here, you know, on the light poles and everything. People lost a cat in the local area, lost a dog or something, and they'll put up the picture of the cat and the dog, lost animal, lost person even. They do it for all sorts. So there's actual like really good reasons for using these.
I love that. First of all, he misses it. They're talking about light poles again, which is not what we're talking about. We're talking about traffic control devices. But then he says there's actual good reasons to put things on a light pole, implying that what he was doing was not a good reason, which it wasn't. But he's trying to be the sycophant, supporter here, and it's really not helping the cause.
Areas too, as this,
Absolutely. Somebody just threw up a question here. I did not have court, and they never pressed charges. You can be held up to 33 days in Florida without charges being pressed. They did not press any charges, so I'm not looking at any charges. And again, as far as I can read, and I've been reading since I got out of jail, I don't think there is a charge. I don't see a charge in there for placing any kind of sticker or any kind of advertisement or anything of the such on any of those signs. It's not in there. So again, I don't think there's any meat to that. I don't, and again, if there was something there, I think I would still be in jail, and they would still try to retaliate.
Personally,
Not necessarily. Although he might be right. They may not have proceeded with charges, although they could still be pending up there. I don't know. The prosecutor may have done it, and they may have just decided not to bring him over for that warrant, or they may have decided to drop all charges. I really don't know. So that may be the case. Once again, though, he just takes one interpretation and assumes it's correct, the one most favorable to him, which may actually be correct. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's just one in the universe of possibilities, and he just assumes that's the case.
Personally, I have never seen you place a sticker anywhere. I have seen stickers around, and they could have been placed by anyone.
Oh, there he goes again. I've never seen you place a sticker anywhere. He's sort of like trying to create this defense. Dummy, he just admitted it on this video. And then you saying, I haven't seen you do it, shows consciousness of guilt, and that it's something that you shouldn't admit. Oh, it's too rich.
I do know of a group of elves that go around doing these things randomly now and again. They do them in the cover of darkness. You will never see them. So, yeah.
Why do they do it under cover of darkness? Probably because they know you're not supposed to, and you might get arrested for it.
It's hard to tell if that was you or not. But so when they...
It's not hard to tell when he just admitted it.
When they first arrested you and they stick the handcuffs on, were they tight? Did they crank them up tight, or were they kind to you? Did they rough your arms around and wiggle them and make it hurt?
They were a little tight, but not too bad. I've definitely had, harder arrests. Yeah. I mean, it was the two young ladies in the video that ended up taking me into Seminole County Jail. It's not bad. I mean, when it's time to go, it's time to go. There's no time for resisting. There's no time for arguing. We can do all that stuff when we get to court.
They put you in the back of the car?
I actually like that. That one statement I do like. He does seem pretty mellow here. We aren't talking about a huge crime, but we are talking about something you're not supposed to be doing after he was irritating people. I really don't know the underlying substance. I haven't seen any video from these events in Definiak Springs. I haven't even seen other stuff that he does. I basically am holding the actions of other auditors against him because, generally speaking, I haven't seen any of them do anything good. They probably have in the course of history, but I haven't seen it yet.
And drove you to where? Where'd they take you to from there?
They took me to the Johnny Polk Correctional Facility, which is the name of the Seminole County Jail. Tom, I am not going to have to go back for trial, buddy, because there are no charges.
You're in for how many days did you spend in there? How many nights was it?
Yep, and it was a full week and Wednesday, and I got let out Thursday night. So it was about 9 days. When I was younger and I went through prison, I had very little issue with any of the inmates. I had more issues with the guards,
Yeah.
That right there, I left that in. I cut a lot of stuff out. But first of all, he's sort of proud of his prior prison stint, which I think is odd. And secondly, I think it just shows the psychology, and I'm certainly not trained in that area, but it's just a common, it's in their profile. It's somebody who had run-ins with the law early. They all have an arrest record, it seems. And then they're just mad at the man. They want to get back at the system. So they I don't know, they walk around and irritate people with a camera phone.
The guards being like, hey, boy, and just thinking that everything has had to revolve around them, and
Respect my authority.
Exactly.
Now, you were in a different county, I think it's called a county over there, than what the arrest warrant came from. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and so they had a certain amount of time to come and pick you up from that facility, otherwise they'd have to let you go. Did they do that, or were you just released?
They didn't use up all the time that they had. I believe they had up to like 30 days to come and get me before they had to let me go or release me.
Wow. 30 days. They could have held you there for 30 days.
Yeah, I believe it's 30 or 33 days in the state of Florida. They can hold you without pressing charges. And I guess on like a no bond status like that, if I'm not in the county, then I could be held until I'm transported to that county. And basically what happened is they never transported me to their jurisdiction. Where I was found or located, arrested, was 6 hours away from their jurisdiction. So it's a long ride for them. Mm-hmm. So they held me in that first county jail for about a week. And then they transferred me to Hillsborough County. Now they did that. They held me in Hillsborough, Tampa, because that's supposedly like a central transfer hub for the state. So when I got to Tampa, the gentleman there said that I could be there for up to 14 days before Walton County sent for me or came to get me. And so I was sitting in there on a Thursday night, this last Thursday night, and like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, they came into my door and they're like, Metz, wrap it up. You're out of here. We didn't have any clue that Walton County didn't want me anymore. And so they just ended up letting me go because they said they didn't want me anymore. Did you finally get released? Did the judge finally rule that the charge can't stick? And I want to, be clear about this. There were no charges ever pressed. So what happened is these jurisdictions were holding me based on Walton County's warrant for my arrest, okay? So basically what happened is I guess the state attorney went to the judge and said, Judge, we have reason to believe, I've got evidence of this young man breaking the law, criminal mischief. We need an arrest warrant for him, okay? So they sent out this arrest warrant. They didn't press any charges yet. They just sent out this arrest warrant to have me come to the county and answer to these charges if they pressed them. And what happened is when the other jurisdiction that came across their teletype, their computer screen, when they ran my plate, that I had this warrant out for my arrest. So basically the other jurisdictions were just holding me on the fact that Walton County wanted to speak with me, I guess you could say.
This was just very interesting to me. I had all these questions. I said it in my first video. I'll put a link to that in the description below, but I had all these questions because, like I said, I'm familiar with Walton County, and it's not close to the other places he's talking about where he's being held. Tampa, it's a long way away from there. So I actually agree with his assessment. Walton County issues a warrant for him, and then these other places are just holding him because they had a warrant. They picked him up. They knew there was an outstanding warrant. They picked him up on the warrant, and he never gets transferred over to Walton County. So he never faces charges. Now, I don't know if they've dropped the charges completely or they just didn't want to. For a charge like this, it would be pretty outrageous for them to, I guess, send an officer for a 6-7 hour drive to get him and a 6-7 hour drive back to face these charges. They may have just decided that it wasn't worth it. I don't know exactly what happened with Walton County, but his assessment on this portion of it, I think, is basically accurate.
Well, after 8 or 9 days, Walton County was like, we don't really want to speak with them. So the other jurisdictions are like, well, yeah, I don't have nothing to hold them on, so I got to kick them out. And that's basically what transpired.
Well, there you have it. I was just interested in that because I had just done a video on it and I couldn't make sense of him being held. Now it all does make sense to me. As far as the underlying action and the defacing a sign and the criminal mischief, that sounds about right, but I don't know. We're hearing his side of it. There may be a lot more to that story, or there may not be. I don't know. I do find it humorous that he basically admits to the elements of an offense, it appears to me, in this video. And then he goes on and on about suing them. And, he wants to sue them for malicious prosecution and lots of things he just doesn't know. Malicious prosecution, a prerequisite for that would be that you were prosecuted. More to the point, a prerequisite for that would be that you were prosecuted and they lost. If they convict you, you don't have a case. I mean, he goes on and on with lots of things, but he's just confused. To his credit, he said, I think I want to have a professional attorney review this with me, and I think that's good. I don't think an attorney will want this on for a civil matter because I think it's a low likelihood of recovery based upon what I know so far. But there's so much I don't know. There are more facts. I could see a case if under the right circumstance, if there are facts that I don't know, or I could see there be absolutely not being cases. So far, I don't see anything that justifies a case. It looks like he did something that was in violation of the code. They issued a warrant for it and then decided not to proceed on it, probably out of expense and hassle. And that's basically it. Here at Law Talk, we like to have fun with silly stuff that happens in court, and every once in a while, and completely by accident, I assure you, you might learn something. Thanks for watching.